Hey guys, Ace here, and welcome back to another episode of the Honest Review series. For this episode, we will continue covering the recently released Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. Today we'll be covering the Stone Coffin Fissure, which I guess counts as a legacy dungeon? I don't know, I'll count it. Let's go ahead and hop right in. So, to get to the fissure, you have to get to the Cerulean Coast region. If you haven't gotten here yet, here's a quick showcase of the path you need to take in order to get there. Once you do arrive at this beautifully blue location, head south to the southern shore map location, and keep going south past this grace. This giant disaster will throw pots at you from a distance like a shot put event at a track meet. So be wary of that while you make your way to this big hole in the ground. Jumping down cautiously will take us to the bottom of the hole and a grace. Keep walking forward and lo and behold, what a sight. There's a whole underground area under the Cerulean Ocean, sprinkled with a purple fog and a plethora of gigantic coffins stuck within the rocky walls. We take a pit stop at this grace here to fill up on hope, because hot damn, we'll need it for this location. To prep myself and not die of boredom using the same weapons for this playthrough, I started to use Raylana's twin blades and respect myself to build around these two dastardly outstanding and fun to use swords. Once you use these things, you'll never want to go back. Anyways, we go back to the fissure and jump right on top of a stone coffin. We'll primarily be fighting blood fiends for the first section of this place, but luckily blood fiends aren't too bad to take out in 1v1 scenarios. We can pick up some sleepy time arrows right here, and we almost had a lullaby sang to us by this blood fiend. Sleep is going to be the main side effect these guys will force upon us, but if your tarnish gets their 8 hours in every night, then you shouldn't stress it. These guys have an annoying amount of health, but if you stick close to them and dodge their attacks, they aren't terrible to fight. They have a good mix of slow and fast attacks that will keep you on your toes while fighting them. While attacking this one, I got his eating utensil, which I'll probably never use, but it doesn't hurt to collect stuff, I guess. I almost got my butt kicked on this 2v1 fight, but came out victorious. Phew, man, that was quick. Already another grace, and another one of Mikola's crosses. He left behind his love. That's fucking depressing. And this ghost here thinks so as well. Oh boy, time to fight some birds. I hate these enemies. They're as unbearable and hair-pulling to deal with as fighting dogs are. This stupid flying combo they pull out of their asses might be the most unsatisfactory way to perish in this game. Still, knocking these bastards out of the air and seeing them land on the ground like the weaklings they are puts a smirk on my face. I really enjoy the coffins acting as pathways here, and traversing down these rocky cliff-like areas means you're bound to find some secret places if you look hard enough. Like over here we can find a unique ornament if we take the right path. Over here we can come across these stupid rock formation things that we can find around the jails in the base game. We'll be dealing with these guys and their debauchery here shortly. This bird got uppercutted in oblivion, and so did his stupid bird friend. Then, we ended up at a shooting range for these rock things. Unfortunately, we are the target. Sheesh man, this thing will fire at you non-stop even if you get close to it. Once you find that rhythm of how they shoot, you'll be fine, but at first these guys were a nuisance. While the rocks tried to pull a Cesaro swing on my ass, this bird thought it would be a grand time to pop out on me. We defeated him, ran to a bunch of explosive rock piles and blew them up for free rooms, and a grave glovewort. We went up there to where the sniper was, and executed him, sword/slash style. Lucky for us, there's another one around this corner. But this time I took him out first, making this other fight with Rocky over here an easy 1-2 KO. Our reward isn't a cash prize and fame, however, it's just another resting point, which you could say is better for the situation we're in. So, we take a quick break, and come back ready to take on the next section of the fissure. A lot of the pickups here aren't really unique items, just some grave gloveworts, so if you're a Mimic tier slut like me, then this place will probably excite you a bit. At least if you haven't maxed out that bad boy. Anyways, we can take this path and find ourselves in quite a predicament. Instead of dealing with this right now, we just hop down this way to find ourselves on a secret path. I thought I got away, but this is Elden Ring. You can never run. Holy crap, that was close. Down on this secret path, we can find the Mass of Putrescent Sorcery, a lackluster one that shoots out an icky gooey substance at your enemies. It's alright, I guess. Holy shit, can you guys chill out? The firebomb spam is getting to me now. Just come here. Oh my god, there's an archer too? What is this? These enemy placements make me want to gouge out my eyes. This is so infuriating. Skeletons have always been an annoying enemy in the Soul series, but these guys take the cake for being ranged threats that make me want to run off the side of this cliff here. I said 2 could play that game and pulled out my cannon launcher. Sadly, this thing isn't great against a bow user like this guy. Guess we'll stick to the twin blades. This cave entrance here leads us to a colossal booger enemy that doesn't do much, he just squirms as we hit him. Hey, nice, we looped around. And would you look at that? My flask has 1 sip left. So, we refueled at the Tarnus gas station, and went up the normal path. Yes, we'll have to fight these skeletons again, but this time I'm prepared. You guys can't get the jump on me this time. Alright, I deserve that. Is this some misbegotten? Whatever this is, he's got some gnarly holy attacks and some fast combos. I wasn't expecting a fight like this inside this area, but hey, it's welcome. Defeating this guy will give you the multi-layered Ring of Light incantation. I don't really use magic that much on this character, but this thing looks sick. Anyways, after doing some risky jumps, we can hop on this coffin and get the sight of a grace up ahead with an intriguing sight right next to it. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I don't like this. We can head up this coffin and talk to this ghost who mentions in the name Saint Trina, a figure who's been mentioned many times before throughout this game. And apparently she's down here? I guess we're supposed to jump off this head here. Let's try it. Wow, nice, I didn't die. Must have been scripted for a reason. Alright, you gotta be serious. And we spawn back up here? We have to make this drop every time we die? My patience is gonna be running thin after I'm done with this one. Anyways, this is the Putrescent Knight. And if I could stay alive for more than 10 seconds, maybe you guys could get a good look at him. He's this malformed skeleton-like thing riding a horse that only has their front legs, while the back legs of it are non-existent and replaced by a massive putrescent sludge. The knight is wielding this weapon that reminds me of the placenta the Orphan of Kos from Bloodborne uses, but it doesn't flail around like that. It's a curved weapon that can slice and dice you within seconds. I think this design is fucking perfect. It's a creepy ass look, and diving a bit into the lore of this creature, which there isn't much, but we can still learn that this being used to be a mass of flesh, probably from all the corpses shoved into the coffins down here, and it was imbued with Saint Trina's nectar. This transformed it into Saint Trina's noble bodyguard, challenging anyone who wants to stand foot in front of Saint Trina. So this boss looks sick. It's in a dope looking arena, and the story is pretty cool. Now, how does the gameplay check out? Well, I love this fight to death gameplay wise. I've had the pleasure of doing this fight just recently once again during my second playthrough of this DLC, so I feel a little refreshed on why I love this boss so much despite my big disdain for Rider bosses. First, let's start with the flow of gameplay. I've seen a lot of people upset about the attack windows on this boss, as if you use a smaller weapon, there aren't many openings after many of the knight's long combos. I can see this complaint being annoying for a lot of people, but for me, it honestly made this fight easier. It takes some patience, but once you recognize when you can hit this sludge fuck and when you can't, it makes this fight so much more simpler and less complex. The attacks of the Putrescent Knight are also insanely fun and satisfying to dodge. Especially this combo, where he jumps off of his horse and you have to dodge multiple times per the 3 different sections of this combo to ensure you don't get hit. And it's just one of the most satisfying things I've ever pulled off and seen since I laid my eyes on some random ASMR sand videos I found while doom scrolling through TikTok. It's an elegant battle between a grounded Tarnish and a noble bodyguard of a figure so mysterious within the lore of Elden Ring. And the gameplay just reinforces this so well in the way the boss attacks and moves. Now in this footage, you can see me trying to roll through the ghost flame attacks this boss can do when he gets to a certain section of this health bar. Sadly, I was a slave to the dodge button this playthrough, and didn't realize all you had to do was time your jumps to not get hit by the flame. I ended up tanking this attack with a shield and still had some success doing so. Alright, words can't do this fight any more justice than I've already tried to, so let me show you my favorite winning fight I've had during my first playthrough of this DLC. cheek clencher is an understatement. This ending still has my asshole puckering to this day. I had to set down my controller for a bit after this ending to recollect myself because, no lie, I was shaking. Still, we clinched the victory and got the remembrance of the putrescent knight as a reward, as well as a hefty amount of runes. We can trade this remembrance in for one of two items, the putrescence cleaver or the vortex of putrescence. I chose the big weapon because I like big weapons, not because I'll actually use it this playthrough. We now have access to stand face to face with Saint Trina, who is crucial in Teolair's questline, which I won't cover in this video, as I'm just covering the dungeon itself. So if you're interested in this questline, just check it out on YouTube. There's a good amount of walkthroughs from people who actually give a crap about NPC quests in FromSoft games, and they explain the quests way better than I ever could. With that being said, that's it with the playthrough of the Stone Coffin Fissure. Let us dive right into the honest review segment. 4 of the legacy dungeons of the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, this is the criteria I will be reviewing it with. The gameplay, the level design and environment, the enemies, the boss, and the loot. The ranks include the following. We have the bad rating, okay, good, great, amazing, and perfect. Let's start with reviewing the gameplay. I don't think the Fissure has all that great gameplay, to be fair. This place maximized itself in the spectacle and idea of hopping down a fissure beneath the Cerulean Ocean with coffins plastered all over the walls. So the presentation was pretty cool, however I just felt bored at some points going through here. This goes hand in hand with the level design being somewhat poor as well. There isn't anything grand about the gameplay here, and there are no cool mechanics really to take foot here. But still, with Elden Ring's gameplay, it's hard to go below the good rating, so for that reason the gameplay of the Stone Coffin Fissure will get the good rating. The level design of the Fissure is alright. I don't think it's anything special, but for what it is, it does its job. This dungeon isn't meant to be the biggest and most grandiose of the DLC, it's just a side area that looks sick and ties into an important questline. I thought it was cool hopping from coffin to coffin, or jumping from a rocky area down to another rocky area to find cool secrets or hidden areas. But the progression of the dungeon was linear, basic, and nothing too extraordinary. However, with the environment, I loved that to death. The presentation and look of this place perfectly gave me a feeling of dread, wonder, and bleh all throughout it. Seeing the coffins strewn and plastered into the fissure walls, the purple and pinkish fog covering the location, and being able to make this grand fall all the way down to an open area of putrescent mass where you fight the knight just tops it off for me. So, combining level design and environment together will give this category a great rating. Now the enemies. Every single enemy other than the Golden Misbegotten is an enemy you've probably came across before earlier in the DLC or somewhere in the base game. This has been a consistent complaint of mine about this DLC, and it'll stay pretty persistent in this location. There's nothing new or unique when it comes to enemy design, and I don't have that much to say about it other than some placements pissed me off at some points, like the rock formations that shoot piss missiles at you, and the stupid skeletons that chuck firebombs and arrows at your cranium. So yeah, the Gold Misbegotten was a cool touch I guess, but other than that, there's nothing more to say here. The enemies get an okay rating. It's kind of insane that I love this boss so much, but I have literally nothing bad to say about it. I covered the boss pretty exclusively during its segment in the video, so if you want to hear what I said about that fight, be sure to check out that portion. The boss, the Putrescent Knight, gets a perfect rating. Yeah, crazy, but I have no complaints, and for me it was one of the most fun fights in the DLC. For the loot, there isn't that much here. There are some cool spells and like one cool weapon, but that's literally it. Unless I've completely missed something, there isn't much value with picking things up here. Now the plants are cool, and if you actually use the crafting mechanic, then I assume these plants will help create some sleep-based stuff since I think they're pretty exclusive to this location. But it's not appealing to me, as well as a majority of the player base. The loot gets an okay rating. Overall, the Stone Coffin Fissure gets a good rating. I guess this area counts as a mini legacy dungeon, and it makes sense. There isn't too much here, but yet the presentation and environment of it makes it stand out compared to the other regular dungeons of the DLC. Still, the environment and the boss fight makes this place memorable for me, and that's all I could really ask for with a small dungeon like this one. That will be it for this short, honest review episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked this video, why don't you subscribe? I'm trying to make YouTube a primary focus in my life, and your support would be greatly appreciated. Even if you don't subscribe, your viewership in itself means a lot to me. This is Ace speaking. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, peace out.